Good morning. Welcome for this practice. We're going to be doing a pranayama practice to help move energy in this sort of early phase of the kapha season here in the Pacific Northwest. So, what that means is looking into how certain practices energize your body and get the doshas moving, but we don't want to flare that into like a vata escalation of the dosha that takes us up and out and into anxiety. So this practice is a pranayama practice to get energy moving, to support your balance of your lymph system, your kapha dosha, ultimately also your digestion and the clarity of your mind. So I'll see you in the practice. Good morning and welcome for practice. It's early February, so here in the Pacific Northwest, we are welcoming the kapha dosha. That means that pretty soon we're going to see daffodils coming up, I would say within the next week. Some of us already see the hellebores blooming and the crocuses blooming. The hellebore is a flower that blooms with its bell shape going down so that it doesn't gather snow or rain in its cup. So it blooms like this. I have several in the garden area here. The daffodil blooms sideways like that. So it also isn't so subject to the snow or the rain getting into its cup. I'm not sure what the crocus is thinking because it blooms pointing up. So I need to research that a little bit further. But the point is that even, the ecology, the plants, everything is adapting to its appropriate season. And so too, we ought to be doing the same, adapting to the seasons that we're in. So with our yoga practice, with Ayurveda, we're adapting, season to season, day to day, month to month, both tuning into the season of our own personal ecology and then also this ecology which we're completely dependent upon and interconnected with. So our focus for practice this morning will be on this sort of blooming of the kapha dosha returning. So please take a comfortable seat. You can rest your hands in your lap. You're welcome to close your eyes. Center yourself on top of your sitting bones. And lengthen up through your spine while dropping your mind down into your body. And allow your breathing to guide you from the base of the spine, the inhale moving upwards, expanding concentrically. Let the in-breath guide you to know the inner landscape of your body this morning. And follow the exhale also from the base of the spine, moving upwards, giving a gentle tone to your inner body. Every breath cycle is a pulsation, a rhythm that your body is responding to. And in every breath cycle, your body is adjusting things like your blood chemistry, your heart rate, your biorhythm. So you can collaborate with your body right now on making a smooth and nourishing breath cycle. As you gather information about your access to the breath or your body's receptivity to the breath or the sense of vitality or fogginess, whatever's going on for you, as you access that information, do so with a loving attitude. And I'll ask you now to raise your hands to your heart. So may our practice help us to overcome forgetfulness or darkness or misperception. May our practice help us not to succumb to considering the real and the unreal to be mingled. May we know what is true, what is not true, what is real, what is unreal. May we know the light from the darkness and the infinite from the finite. May we not mistake a momentary pleasure for everlasting inner peace, for example. May we take care of our vitality to nourish our minds, bodies, and spirits. Om Asatoma Satgamaya Tamasoma Jyotirgamaya Mrityorma Amritam Gamaya Om Asatoma Satgamaya Tamasoma Jyotirgamaya Mrityorma Amritam Gamaya Om Asatoma Satgamaya Tamasoma Jyotirgamaya Mrityorma Amritam Gamaya Om Shanti 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 Hari Om Shri Guru Pyo Namaha Hari Om. With your exhale, you may bow your head to your heart. Release your hands as you're ready to, and please open your eyes. So to address the Kapha dosha as it's coming through, if you look at the landscape around you, especially I'm in the Pacific Northwest, so I can see it very clearly here. And in fact, every latitude and longitude is going to have its own experience of the doshas and the seasons. So right now, what we're experiencing is mud, and the mud is cold. So the Kapha dosha, its temperature is cold, whereas Pitta dosha, the temperature is hot. Vata dosha, it's cold. The Kapha dosha is earth and water combined, so it turns into this muddy, unctuous cold right now. You can also sense how wet things are and that things could become kind of waterlogged. The moss is growing on stuff where some people will power wash that moss away because it gets very slippery. So the slippery quality, the unctuous quality of Kapha dosha is also there. In the inner body, when Kapha dosha is too heavy, too wet, too damp, too waterlogged, too cold, we feel more lethargic. We feel kind of held down. So we're going to use some practices to move this mud, in case you have mud in your system or mud in your mind. We're going to use practices to move that mud. So we'll start with something more like Qigong than yoga, so it may not be familiar to you. But as you take a seat upright, make your two hands into little cups like this. And I'll ask you to start on the abdomen so we can just come right into this region. So Kapha dosha is earth and water, and its home is in the chest and the heart. But when we feel waterlogged, when we feel like unctuous but stuck, that tends to be below the diaphragm in this element where the second chakra, the water element, is. So taking these two fists that you're going to make into cups, just start with the lower belly. You can be rhythmic about it. And then go to the mid belly. The upper belly, so you're near the diaphragm. Mid belly. Lower belly. Okay, the sides of the waist. And then make two fists and go to the back of the pelvis, the back of the waist, like this. And go across the top of the sacrum and then up towards the kidneys also. Go back to the sides of the waist and then come around front, upper, middle, lower. Okay, and then sit for a moment and take notice what is happening. Okay, and now we're going to go to the breathing practice called Bhastrika, which has a pumping action. So this pumping, what's going to happen here is in the pump, your body is getting a rhythm, 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 rhythm. You're also moving O2 and CO2, but that pumping is going to act like a massage on the abdomen also. Let's do this one out through the mouth like you're holding a milkshake straw between your lips. So it's going to have a little bit of restraint and then a little bit of force is needed here in the lower abdomen. So think of this as below your belly button and above your pubic bone, like this. One long exhale. Inhale to suspension. Release the suspension and exhale. And notice that during that suspension, we're lifting energy up into the chest and the heart. That is the home of the Kapha dosha. And we're also snugging the lower belly in and up using the bandhas. So we're asking for energy to move upwards, not to become stagnant in the pelvic region. And we'll do it again. One long exhale. Inhale up to suspension. And then exhale thoughtfully, completely. Deeply relax, simply noticing the kind of effervescence that's coming to your body. And then Kapalabhati, so coming into the region of the upper abdomen. So you're going to be pulsing the diaphragm a little bit more quickly, and it's going to go through the nose. So there's less resistance than we had with the shape of the mouth, though if you have sinus congestion, you're going to have resistance. Breathing out through the nose does provide the appropriate amount of resistance for the exhale to still need force here in the diaphragm. So it's a pulsation. It has a little bit more endurance for most people, and it goes like this. Exhale completely. And again, inhale to suspension. Release the suspension smoothly and allow yourself to exhale completely. Now we're going to use inhale and exhale. So we're kind of moving energy through the body, and we're going to use a counting practice for this. So at your particular pace, I can't determine that for you. There's going to be an inhale for 8 and an exhale for 8, but you're going to count that 8 to yourself. And the reason we're using 8 is that we're going to have 8, and then we're going to have 4, and then we're going to have 2, and then we're going to have 1. We're going to be putting it in half like that. So we have 8, 4, 2, 1. When we do the 8, we'll do several rounds. And then when we do the 4, I'll also paste that for you. And then we'll do 2. We'll do more of those. And then we'll do 1. That'll be inhale, rapid, exhale, rapid. And we'll be doing those also where it becomes a longer period of the 1s. And then we'll get back to the 8. So let's start just by using an inhale for 8 and an exhale for 8. And you can count that if you want to. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, like that. You're not rushing the breath at all. This is a slow breath, but count according to your capacity to have 8 for the inhale and 8 for the exhale. 2 more breaths at the 8 count. Now 4 counts. You have quickened the pace of the breath, but taking in about the same quantity of breath. So you're counting at 4. We'll do 4 more breaths at 4 counts. Now 2 counts. One count. Two counts. Four counts. Four counts. Eight counts. Eight counts for 2 more breath cycles. And then deeply relax. And sense the pulsation or the effervescence in your body. And then integrating this practice, we're going to close this particular part of today's practice with Nadi Shodhana. So we've energized the body, we're moving Kapha dosha. We don't need to send Vata dosha up to the moon. So now we're going to do Nadi Shodhana, balancing the nadis and centering in the Sushumna, the central channel. We place the first two fingers to the center of the palms. We'll be closing the right and left nostrils alternating. We begin with inhale left, then exhale right. And then we'll inhale right and exhale left. So you change the nostril after the inhalation, balancing the Ida and the Pingala nadis so that we can have this internal sense of the Sushumna, the central channel. So bring your right hand up. Begin with closing the right nostril. Inhale left side only. In your own timing, exhale right nostril. And then inhale right side. Maintain a balance between inhale and exhale. The next time that you exhale through your left nostril, let that be the last one. And you can return both hands to your lap. And notice the quality of your mind. You may have a natural inclination for the gaze to be upwards towards the sixth chakra, or towards the third eye, as we call it sometimes. May you have a clear and radiant mind and an easeful and fluid experience of your doshas. Raise your hands to your heart. Thank you very much. Thank you so much for sharing your practice with me and with the community. I hope this has been helpful to you. If you have questions or comments, please leave them down below the video. If this kind of methodology intrigues you and you'd like to learn more about yoga teacher training, check out the URL here on the screen. You can also find that in the description below the video. As always, thank you for being here. If you've not yet subscribed, please do that too. Thank you very much. Namaste.